A perfect victory demanded a perfect retribution, and it sent the Indians into a spiraling decline and sealed the United States' continental hegemony. Within a year, Custer's last stand had spawned a reckoning that broke the power of the Lakotas and their allies in the northern plains. The Battle of the Little Bighorn fixed the Lakotas, embodied by Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, in historical memory and made them an object of enduring fascination. A historical sequence that saw an indigenous power deliver a humiliating blow to a rising industrial behemoth, only to soon suffer a devastating defeat by the U.S. military, continues to mesmerize because its meanings resonate so broadly. From America's imperial hubris to the moral complexities of the Vietnam War, from the present-day struggles between nation-states and non-state actors to the confounding unpredictability of history itself. D. Brown's acclaimed work, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, remains the most read book on Native Americans, in part because it captured those meanings so evocatively. The Battle of the Little Bighorn has both elevated and diminished the Lakotas in the American mind. Like the battles of Yorktown and Gettysburg, it is a cultural touchstone around which American identity and self-understanding revolves. But unlike the American Revolution or the Civil War, the Lakota story lacks a comprehensive study. There are hundreds of superb works on different aspects of Lakota history, from social organization to religious life to the shifting relations with the United States, but most of them take the Little Bighorn as a guiding coordinate, tracing the immediate events, essentially the military buildup, leading up to it. Through a quick rear-view look, Lakotas enter the scene fully formed as fierce horse-mounted hunter-warriors who give Lewis and Clark pause with their haughty confidence, a premonition of the carnage on the Little Bighorn 3 generations later. The Lakotas of our imagination are props that bookend America's westward expansion, present at its promise-filled inception and its morally ambivalent finale. For Lakotas, the clash with the United States, culminating in the horror of the Wounded Knee Massacre, was a shattering experience, but it did not define them as a people or their place in history. This book detaches their story from the mainstream historical coordinates which have reduced them to a foil of the American condition. Here, the Lakotas emerge not as quintessential villains or victims, but as central and enduring protagonists who contended with a range of colonial powers since the 17th century, variously diverting, foiling, and boosting their ambitions. They emerge as superbly flexible people who went through a series of geneses, from pedestrian foragers to sedentary farmers to equestrian hunters to nomadic pastoralists, each a precarious attempt to carve out a safe place in a world where European newcomers had become a permanent presence. They come to life as fiercely proud people who easily embraced outsiders, turning their domain into a vibrant ethnic jumble. Perhaps most strikingly, they emerge as supreme warriors who routinely eschewed violence, relying on diplomacy, persuasion, and sheer charm to secure what they needed, only to revert to naked force if necessary.